Okay. You want to do Agent Carter first
Either way.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.? Okay. I got Agent Carter up right now, so let's start with Agent Carter.
Sounds like a plan.
Okay. Avast me, hearties, and welcome once again to Full Stream Ahead. I'm your Captain Charlie, the Professor Esser, and with me, as always, is my first mate and skinny rich friend.
It's Mozz.
Hey, Mozz. Welcome once again, ladies and gentlemen, to Full Stream Ahead. Uh, Capes and Lunatics and Southgate Media Group's only show for amazing streaming content or reviews thereof. Tonight's episode, Season 1, Episode 5 of Agent Carter, The Iron Ceiling. Carter finally gets a chance to prove herself as she is sent on a mission in Russia with Agent Thompson and the Howling Commandos. Meanwhile, Agent Sousa makes an important discovery. Our director this week is a Mr. Peter Leto. I wonder if he's any relation to Jared. Stan Lee and Jack Kirby, of course, get the Based on Marvel Comics by credit. Christopher Marcus and Stephen McFeely get our Created by credits. This episode was written by Jose Molina. And then we have the concept of the Howling Commandos were created by Jack Lee and Jack Kirby and Stan Lee. The Red Room was created by J.G. Jones and Devin Grayson. All right, so this episode, I mean, I feel bad for the poor nerdy code cracker that if he wasn't feeling, intimidated by the room full of jocks to start with, Peggy completely eats his lunch. But,
I felt bad for the poor little girl in the beginning.
Oh, well, yeah, the poor little girl in the beginning. Oh, man. Although that was dark.
Pretty dark. Yeah, surprisingly dark. I was like, wow, I didn't think I'd see that in this show.
Now, this was, remember, I think when this came out, this was right about the time Age of Ultron came out. So this is when we first get our glimpses of the Red Room with Natasha Romanoff. And this is the early Black Widow project. And, of course, we see, if it wasn't obvious from the last episode, that Dottie, why am I blanking on Dottie's name? Dottie, sounds like a typewriter. Dottie Underwood, thank you. Dottie Underwood is definitely a proto-Black Widow to go along with our Agent Carter, to be our evil opposite.
And weren't they saying that the Black Widow is probably still alive because she was replaced by her sister, right?
Well, that's a theory, yeah.
Well, that's a theory. So, what's interesting is Dottie is in the mirror trying to assume the personality of Peggy Carter. What plans she has to act on that, and how she chooses to go about it, I don't know. But it definitely seems like that's a known MO of theirs. So could lend credence to the fact that Black Widow is actually still alive.
That's an interesting aspect of the theory I hadn't really considered. Very good. But basically, Carter cracks the code, and I believe it was that, she makes the obvious point that the guy who's, trying to do the decoding didn't consider that it was originally in Russian, which I would think that would have been the obvious thing, to think that it was probably sent in Russian, not in English, but
yeah,
I guess, he wasn't very good at his job.
Yeah.
A
lot of people conveniently not very good at their job.
Yeah, well, you need to do that so Peggy can shine,
Yeah.
And Peggy does shine because she does show that, she can, do the code cracking in her head. She speaks fluent Russian, and, but still, they don't want to have her go. And makes, a honest, but, that's one of the things. Like, they're sexist, but they're honest about it. Where they say, just like just like what's his name? Thompson was Jack Thompson
Hmm.
in the previous episode. Says to you, Peggy, why are you here? No man will ever give you the respect. And for what it's worth, she knows he's right. In this world, that is the world they live in. But he's not. He's not being mean about it. He's just saying, this is the world we live in. And again, right now, Dooley basically is saying, listen, you will not be accepted by, or if I send you on this mission and you get killed, I'm the guy who got a woman killed in the line of duty. And if you go on this mission and someone else gets killed, I'm going to catch that too. Which
Because
basically
that's
makes
going to fall on you. You have to take the blame for that.
exactly. hmm But she makes the point that if I can get us the 104th or the 105th, I forget exactly what they called themselves. If I can get them, I can go. And he's like, yeah, sure. If you can get the Howling Commandos to show up, which honestly, when you think about it, that was kind of a stupid thing of him to say, because
Really?
she knows
Come on.
Cap.
Yeah.
It's like obviously she knows the Howling Commandos. Like, are you that dumb? You think she's not going to be able to deliver on that when she brings it up? Uh, so they agree to let her go, and this leads to an interesting exchange where she wants to go change in the men's room or the men's locker room because it's the only locker room they have, and
Right.
and it would be really ridiculous of her to change into combat gear in a public restroom,
Yeah.
3 floors down, which is like, you know, the 40s. Um, but because she goes in, because she's there, because she's doing the change, and they pull the little prank on Sosa, where they tell him to go look in the other locker for his compass. Now, how he didn't realize she was there when he walked in, I don't know, but we're just gonna go with it.
Mm.
But he walks in and sees her, in her underwear, and then she turns around and Sosa sees something.
Mm.
He sees 3 telltale bullet wounds on her shoulder, which match similar marks on the shoulder of the blonde who killed Spider.
Mm.
And this is where those wheels start turning. And this is kind of an important point in this, because this is going to be something that Sousa is going to figure out, and then we're going to have to figure out what Sousa going to do with this information.
All right. Because towards the end of
Peggy,
this, you seem like he knows.
yeah, yeah,
Right. So,
he,
and he chooses to keep it quiet. Like, is he weighing, whether or not she's a good guy, weighing her, her friendship with Captain America and the credibility that affords her, or is he thinking, is she really a spy? I'm thinking he's probably thinking that she's probably doing something good. Otherwise, he would have said something to somebody about it way earlier. If it really
yeah,
believed that it was an issue of national security, right?
yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I think that's the case. I mean, I think there's also the possibility that it's not that much to go on yet.
That's
I
also
mean,
true.
it's like, okay, her and this other woman have a similar markings, because obviously it's only a photograph of the other woman. You don't even know if those are bullet wounds. They could have just been 3 randomly placed moles. So he wants to get a little bit more. Maybe he wants to confront her about it. Um, and sort of decide what is the best course of action forward. In the meantime, of course, Peggy and Thompson and her and 2 other gentlemen from the group.
SRS.
Yeah, the SRS. Agent Mike Lee and Agent Rick Ramirez um, go with her, or all in the plane, and they're all nervous. Of course, Peggy, she's an old hand at this, and I think she makes a point to Thompson about, well, I've never jumped out of a plane before. And she's like, no, I've done 3 times. I hate it every time,
They were all
But,
practice jumps, but they were
yeah,
jumps.
they were jumps, and he still hated it. It's like it's not always fun. But they do land, and of course the Howlers, can't remember what the password is. We get Dum Dum saying, emu, emu. It's ostrich. It's eagle. Peggy corrects him, and we get a nice little exchange.
And when they were all sitting around the campfire, immediately I thought, just give me one fart. Give me one fart. Give me a Blazing Saddles reference. But no, they decided to keep it classy.
Yeah, they decided. A lady was present,
That's also true. Very true.
Anyway, they but they're telling their tall tales about the abominable snowman and the yeti that they fought and saw. Which it's funny because you realize, oh, this is the Marvel universe. They might have fought a yeti at some point,
Yeah.
Or I
true.
can't remember which one they said was the real one, the yeti or the abominable snowman.
Yeah, I think he said the Yeti was real.
Yeah, the yeti was real. The abominable snowman, that's fake.
Yeah.
And they go into and they get and Peggy is for what it's worth is trying to ingratiate Thompson with them by pointing out that he has a Navy Cross. That he has this really big, he's got a fancy medal. But of course we can also see that he doesn't really want to talk about it, but he does tell his story.
I'm surprised at how generous Peggy was with him in that moment.
Well, I think at the end of the day, she's still trying to build these bridges.
Yeah.
And, and that's the thing. It's like, because he is, he's a sexist, but he's honest. I don't think it's so much that he has any particular anathema. I don't remember how the word works, but I don't think he has any animus towards Peggy per se. He just says, this is the way the world is.
Right. And he's part of the team. So you've got to gel as a team before you go do a job. And I think it's the height of professionalism on her part.
Yeah.
And not just on a surface level, but in a genuine level, to bring him into the fold, to make him feel a little better so that we're all cohesive and to be good for him too.
Yeah.
Very generous.
Yes. And we come across in the morning and by the way, it is nice to see the Howlers back. A little disappointed that we don't get Gabriel Jones in this, but we have Happy Sam Sawyer instead, who was not from the first Avenger. I don't know what happened to Gabriel Jones from the original one, but they decided to switch him out for Happy Sam Sawyer. Now, in the comic books, Happy Sam Sawyer was actually it was a white guy, and he was the commanding officer of Nick Fury in the Howling Commandos, and they always called him Happy Sam because he was always very, very stern-faced. So they used to make that joke, "Oh, good old Happy, like how happy he is." And it's one of those weird things where you wonder, like, oh, is that like supposed to suggest something about the World War II lineage of maybe Nick Fury somewhere along the line? Maybe maybe it was Happy Sam Sawyer's kid, or something like that. But yeah, all these questions you ask in these moments. But they do come across the Russian facility, which we see is the Red Room, which is also, it's like interesting because it seems abandoned.
Right, and the timestamp they gave in the first scene was 1937. So I thought that was a moment in Dottie's life. But then I'm thinking, oh, maybe none of those girls had anything to do with the past, and they're currently, so I wasn't sure.
Oh, did they say that was 1937 Russia at the start?
Yeah,
Oh,
the year. So because this is in the 50s, right? Or
this is like
no,
the late. Well,
the late
this
40s
is
or the early
late
50s, I
40s,
guess.
maybe the early 50s. Yeah, actually, I think it's
Okay,
like 1948 or something.
gotcha, gotcha,
It's
gotcha.
not too far after World War II because obviously everyone's World War II vet in this.
Hmm.
So yeah, so I didn't see them say 19. I mean, maybe they did. I just didn't see it, but because I thought that was the same girl that we saw at the beginning who snaps the
Yeah,
neck.
that's what threw me off. But then they were just generic looking, girls.
Yeah, yeah. Or maybe Dottie's a clone. Dun dun
Hmm.
dun.
Or maybe,
Anyway,
maybe I'm just picturing it because of something that was in Agents of Shield, which is what we're also watching. So maybe I'm confusing the two.
yeah, that could be it too. That could be it too.
That
That
would
one
make
does
more
take
sense.
place in the 50s, but but we'll get to that. We'll get to that in a few moments as well. In the meantime, but it's just weird how abandoned the facility is for a facility that's clearly active because it does have the one baby Black Widow still there.
Yeah.
It does have guards who eventually come and two prisoners.
Hmm.
So it's like weird that all this stuff is going on, but it's still almost completely abandoned. Um, when they do meet, and I get, part of me kind of thinks that that baby Black Widow, she killed all of her classmates. And
Oh.
now that I think about it, it's like, oh wow, that's probably what happened. Was that basically,
Huh.
they all fought and fought and fought, and then whoever was the one who killed them all, she got to graduate. You know,
Wow.
I mean, maybe anything's possible. We'll probably get a lot more of that when we get to the actual Black Widow film, what the procedure was in the Red Room. But
Hmm.
it's sort of like Gamora and Nebula, where they just always had to fight each other every day, and to make each one better. And in this case, it's like obviously they can't just replace parts with parts, so they just fight to the death. And it gets dark. But in that moment, they find the little girl, and Dum Dum is gonna be all like, "Hey, hey, little girl, I'm not gonna hurt you." You say, "Oh, do you like my hat?" It's what it's called, a bowler hat. Call it a bowler because, hey, Peggy, why do they call it a bowler? And then she stabs him,
Oof.
which is, yeah, it is, it is neat. Now, of course, he's like, he was wearing, the armor, the titanium mesh armor, so he's not gonna get, he's okay for the most part, Um, but it is interesting because then he goes to go run after it, and Peggy's like, "Don't kill her,"
Yeah.
and
And
it's
then
like,
what does she do 5 seconds later?
she doesn't kill her, does she?
She kills Lee. She shoots Lee. And
She
that,
shoots.
or not Lee, or Happy, whatever
Oh, oh,
the
oh. No, she doesn't. Oh, she shoots at Happy. Yeah, yeah.
right.
The girl shoots Happy.
Right,
Yes,
right. So it's like,
yes.
hey, don't kill her, but she turns around and she doesn't kill Happy. She just wounds him.
No, I think he makes it out. I think the only one who dies is Ramirez at the end of this.
Oh, interesting. I thought
I
he
think.
died.
No, I don't think so. They shoot him, but they I don't think it was a lethal wound.
Hmm.
I don't think so. I could be wrong, but I don't think it was. And obviously, if that was the case, then my talk about Sawyer being somehow involved in something else would not make a lot of sense. So,
Hmm.
uh, so let's assume that no, I don't think. But yeah, she does attack Happy Sam, and it's interesting. And again, like I said, it's this weird idea that this whole facility is almost guarded by the little girl.
Hmm.
Which I guess maybe that's a point to be made. Like, hey, that's all we need is the little girl. But it is odd in the way that it seems to play out. They do find the scientists. They find
Well, the scientist.
Well, the
I guess
scientist. Well,
psychiatrist, scientist in a way too, right?
yeah. I mean, that's. I believe that's Doctor Evchenko. I believe the um is the psychologist that we see there, and Nicola. Yeah, Nicola is the physicist because
Hmm.
they need the physicist to understand. So he only gets one name too. Needs the physicist to understand Stark's blueprints, but of course they also need the psychiatrist to help maintain his mental stability while he's doing the work.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, that is. I mean, it's interesting how this whole thing plays out because they do get into this firefight. We do see there are other guards there, and they do get trapped. We do see that that little girl is like still running around. Yeah, I think Sam gets shot in the leg if I'm not mistaken.
No, I just rewound to the scene that he gets shot right in the chest, and
Oh,
as they're walking away, he who's the head Howling Commander? What's his name? The
Dum
guy with
Dum.
the mustache. Dum
Yeah,
Dum.
Dum.
Dum Dum takes his dog tags off of him before he leaves.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. Okay. Oh, so they lost two men on this, I think, because I do believe because I
Yeah.
know Ramirez gets shot too.
Right.
Or was it Ramirez earlier? It's one or the other.
I'm not sure.
Um,
But I know
yeah, I
she's
can't.
killed two people this episode.
Yeah. Oh, so she kills Ramirez early as well. Okay.
No, 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 no. She kills the girl at the beginning.
Oh, yeah. So yeah, she kills the girl and then she kills Happy Sam. Man, that's sad.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
oh, this
That's
is
a
this
that's
is
a
rough. This is a very high
very
body count.
yeah for a child, no less.
Well, yeah, and also for what it's worth, for a essentially, a family hour program. When you're killing, Minx last episode, you kind of look the other way because like, well, he was Minx and kind of clearly had it coming. But now we're killing the good guys. Not even unlikable good guys.
Hmm.
We're killing little girls. Yeah, they're stacking them like cordwood in this. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, but and Ivachenko, I believe it's Ivachenko, is kills Nicola, correct?
Yes.
When Nicola is trying to basically, negotiate his freedom. See,
Yeah.
I thought that he had Sam. I thought Sam was the guy that he was holding. See, that's what I was. That's what's
No,
confusing.
I think he was. Well, Happy Sam is the white guy, right?
No, Happy Sam was the black guy.
So who's the white guy? That's Ramirez, I guess.
Ramirez is.
The young white kid that the little girl shoots.
Yeah, well, because there's one guy that gets shot at the end, and one guy that gets shot at the beginning.
Right. It's the white guy that gets shot by the little girl. She grabs the revolver out of somebody's holster, spins
Hmm.
around and shoots the young kid. Now I think
Yeah,
he was part of the Howling Commanders. I don't think he was part of Thompson's team.
yeah, yeah. I'm not quite sure now. I'm blanking on it myself. Who who got shot? But I know that one. I know that
Yeah,
it was
but
the
it's
agent who gets shot at the end. I believe.
gotcha.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty sure. Because I don't have it up right now. But yeah. So but it's telling. I think that Evachenko kills the scientist.
Yeah.
Um, even as because even as Tom, Dum Dum does break in to give them their egress, and it's it's
He was doing
interesting.
it to save the agent's life, or you know.
Uh I don't know. I don't know what his motivation was. I think
To be
I
honest
think
with you, I don't even know what Avchenko's motivation was to try to make that deal happen. It seems like such a illogical conclusion to make, in that situation, given how smart he supposedly is.
you mean Nicola or
Yeah, the scientist.
yeah, Nicola. Well, no, he's speaking in Russian, so he's hoping that no one's listening. And from his perspective, they're outnumbered. So if he tries to make it seem like, hey, I wasn't trying to escape, kill all these guys and just take me back, or let me go back to my family.
But he's smart enough to know that, it's like if he's going to survive this and he's going to do it on the side of his captors, it's only going to lead to one thing.
Yeah.
So in that respect, he doesn't really even need any leverage. He is the leverage. He can just run over and go, "Hey, save me." It just seemed like a weird thing to do, to take a hostage in that situation when you didn't really need it.
Yeah.
And the way he goes, "I know what to do. I know what to do." You think like, the brilliant scientist is going to have some sort of a plan, but it's the silliest plan ever.
Yeah. Well, and to be fair, he's a scientist. He's not a he's not a
or a
he's not a
spy,
commando or whatever. He's literally just, trying to get home, and that's the sad part about it. And it is also this kind of an interesting aspect when you think about it. If he were to go with Peggy and them, he's not going back to Kiev. They're not gonna, they can't drop him off in Kiev, because first of all, even if he goes back to Kiev, he and his family are going to be just picked up again. And quite frankly, his family is going to be probably harmed because he left. So, from his perspective, he's in a no-win
situation. If they're not
situation.
dead already, in my opinion,
Yeah.
they're probably dead. And the idea that his wife and whatever is out there is only like a fiction spun by his psychiatrist to keep his mind together.
Yeah. Sort of like, sort of parallels of Iron Man in that, where the guy's like, oh, I'll be with my family again after this. And his family like died 10 years ago. And, and like I said, a nice little reverse of that, and the fact that this one, the scientist betrays them all. But, yeah, however it works, they do escape, they do get out, and they take the doctor with them, because he's going to cooperate. And he takes poor Dum Dum's bourbon. Barely got to drink any of it, Poor guy.
And had to give it to somebody who couldn't even really appreciate it.
Yeah. That's alcoholism for you.
Why is there so much taste here?
Yes. Yeah, well, there you go. And and hey, what else? As a bourbon drinker myself, I'll tell you, the first time you hit it, it does have a powerful flavor. It grows on you. But like so many alcohols,
it's a distinctly American quality,
Yes. Well, it's got the bite. That's what I love about it. It's the corn. Yeah. It's the corn in the whiskey. See, that's what people don't realize. It's because bourbon has to have a really strong bite that most other whiskeys try to subdue. And bourbon has that really forward bite to it where you taste that this is alcohol. And I love that. But that's what I love best about bourbon, is that it really reminds you this is alcohol. Take it seriously. And
there's an art to, taking that bite, picking it apart into its individual notes, and then poetically bringing them back together to say like a poem in alcohol form.
Yes. Bourbon. We love you. Except no substitutes. Kentucky bourbon.
Indeed.
Anyway, but they do get back. Vichenko is going to be, is going to defect. Although, again, we'll see how that all works out. We get little of Daddy Underwood, and then we do, of course, end with Sousa not calling anyone out, not pointing this out, but we know he knows. He is trying to decide what to do with this information. And that is the difficult part of this, is what do I do with this information? Any final thoughts on tonight's episode, Mozz?
The other thing that I think is an important note to mention is how Thompson froze under fire.
And yes.
We get this great slow motion heroic shot of Peggy Carter saving everybody, and just not even an ounce of sweat under pressure. Just like, this is just my Sunday,
Yeah,
Um,
and that is such a great aspect of the PTSD that Thompson suffers from, but also just which we see at the end of it. And man, I almost buried the lead on this whole thing. That his entire heroism is a lie,
yeah,
and that is such a deep confidence. And literally, he's giving this to Peggy,
yeah,
which she not. I mean, she could destroy him with this.
right. Again,
Wh-
the
Yeah,
generosity of her spirit to
yeah,
give
but
him, to afford him that room to say, okay, you've laid it on me, but now you've laid it out. Let it go. You're fine.
yeah,
You know,
and
that was beautiful.
I know, and it is beautiful, and it is. Though part of me wonders, did he just want her to? It's like, he has this major imposter syndrome, and does
Mm,
he just want to be found out so it can be over?
right.
You know, let it be known that he committed this war crime. It was an accident, but he did it, and everyone thought he was a hero. And then he hid the evidence of the white flag because he
Right.
didn't
But
see
this
the
is the
white flag
first
until it was
time,
too late.
and
Yeah,
but right, sorry, but this is the first time it's been marginally okay to be that person because somebody already saw him as that person. So the gig is up. Oh, sorry,
yeah,
the gig is up, and so now it's easier for him to say it, and it's almost a relief where he didn't have to actively make the decision to be responsible for those actions, but now it's thrust upon him. Might as well take the chance, and she makes it really easy for him there too. And
yeah,
he's grateful for it, clearly.
yeah, yeah. He is, and it is, and and of course he gives the props to Peggy at the end.
Yeah.
He says, "I'll notify Ramirez's family." And that's my job because I was the lead on this. But he also makes a point, and Carter got us through this. Carter really was central, and for to his credit, Thompson's like, good work, and
Hmm.
they even invite Peggy out for the drink. She gets to go get drunk with the boys,
Right.
so
And,
that
and
is
I'm
an
glad
honor.
that they didn't take that moment to be sort of a stand on anything, that it was just a genuine, honestly fun, adorable moment. Like, you want to go?
Yeah.
And she has no reservations about it, no bad feelings, no insecurity, nothing. She's like, yeah,
Hmm.
that sounds like fun. I've been waiting forever for you guys to ask me. So I thought that was really, really cool.
Yeah, well, he owed her a bourbon, so
Yeah.
that was what was sweet about it, and
Right. But that, and that she didn't, pretend not to care.
yeah.
That she was genuine, allowed herself to be excited by it. She wasn't bogged down with what it means or whatever.
Hmm.
I thought that was a really, really cool touch.
Yes, it was. It was very well done. Okay. So I guess that's it for this episode.
Yeah.
If you are listening to this episode right now, hopefully you are doing it on Tweaked Audio headsets, one of the fine sponsors of Capes and Lunatics on the Southgate Media Group network. They've been sponsors with us for a very long time. So you can go back many, many episodes ago. You'll still hear us singing the praises of Tweaked Audio. So I hope you are listening to this podcast on Tweaked Audio. And if you don't have Tweaked Audio, what I can also recommend you do is scroll down into the show notes, look for that Amazon link, click on that, go to Amazon, and buy Tweaked Audio headsets because they sell just about everything at Tweaked Audio, including Pod Life the book. If you've ever wondered what it is that drives men and women of good sense to become podcasters, this is the book for you. The heartfelt tales of members of the Southgate Media Group family just discussing what makes them want to be podcasts. It's a real good book. I highly recommend it to all of you. And if you do not want any of that, please go on over to huntakiller.com and check out the entire Hunt a Killer product where you get to hunt a killer. Because wouldn't that be fun? Hunt a killer just like Peggy Carter. All right. Mozz, if you would like to reach out to you and talk to you, how can they do so?
Or they can email me at mozzmanzoor@gmail.com or find me on Facebook under Mozz Manzoor. That's MOZZMANZOOR.
And of course, if you'd like to write to me in that old-fashioned email way, the way our Mozz and Pods once did, please do so at superconnectivityblog@gmail.com. That's superconnectivityblog, all one word, at gmail.com. And of course, follow me on Twitter, because you know what? I finally stayed up till 10 o'clock at night, and I did, in fact, live tweet Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. this week. Yay!
All
At
right.
Charlie Esser. That's CHARLIEESSER. Look for the two E's in the middle.
For quality. Bing.
Thank you, Mozz. All right, me hearties. Once again, you have sailed upon the good ship full stream ahead. We hope that you have gained some knowledge of some great things and sated your lust for adventure one more time. Please, in a week, come on back as we explore new ports, exciting and new. Come aboard, we've been expecting you on full stream ahead. Arg.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. This was episode 3, I
Yeah.
believe. Okay. Let's go to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 7, episode 3. Kami aliens from the future. Or something along those lines. Come on.
Alien commies from the future.
Yeah, okay, it's giving me trouble here, so I gotta do it through this. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 7, episode 3. Okay. Come on, come on, come on. Yeah. Internet's been spotty of late.
Oh.
Yeah, let's see, let me try this.
A lot of people had problems with their phones today.
Yeah. You know, I have been having some problems with because of course my Wi-Fi is through AT&T, so I don't know,
Yeah.
man. Could be.
Because all day I couldn't receive phone calls. I just started getting texts that were sent to me this morning. There was a giant outage for a lot of carriers today. I don't know what's
Ah.
happening. But it certainly felt like the beginning of a bunch of these Nat Geo shows. You know, after people, first the cell communications will go down, then the power grid, and then the plants will overtake the windows. I don't know.
Yeah.
Definitely had that feeling
It's
to
gonna check
phone
in though.
that.
Oh, Wi-Fi wireless working. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Well, you know, I mean, it's weird when you lose stuff like that.
Mm.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Come on. S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 7, episode 3. Come on, come on, come on. Why is it saying it can't get to the site? What is going on here? I'm like, right. It's because we're connected. We're still talking. We're on the internet. Oh,
Indeed.
Tristan, get off! Tristan, get off the computer now. No, you're already way past. Turn it off. Yeah. Okay. It says we're connected and secured. That's what I want. Okay. Yeah. Let's go to Microsoft Edge. Maybe that'll get me through where I need to be.
Oh boy, this is where we are. Microsoft Edge. That's where we are.
Hey, I actually don't have much problem with Microsoft Edge. Um, okay, come on. What is going on? Why will this not open for me? Okay. What? I can't. I'm in the middle of a phone call right now. Okay. Okay. Mm, come on.
You want to try restarting the computer?